Aloha, dear traders. Welcome to the new week 21 to 25th of April 2025. As always, I'm Atomashi Daniel, Traders Global Market Analyst. It's great to have you this week. Happy Easter to our Christian brothers and sisters as we mark the celebration or mark the resurrection of Christ. May the Almighty grant us the strength to grow in green pips this week. Again, we are Vestrado, retail brokerage firm domiciled in Malaysia, representatives and offices all across the world. Okay. This week, some pairs we are considering analyzing. Okay. Of course, we're going to be starting with fundamental analysis, and some of the pairs we're looking at include the Euro USD, the GBP USD, the USD JPY, and perhaps Bitcoin. No, we are not looking at the USD CAD this week. Let's look at Bitcoin and the USD JPY. Okay. Now, what are the highlights of the fundamentals for the Euro USD and the GBP USD? Now, today, of course, is the technicals day. We're not expecting any significant high impact data from the calendar updates. Okay. But today is Easter Monday, hence, we have bank holidays across some economies, meaning that probably going to be seeing less volatility compared to other days. Tuesday, tomorrow, some particular medium impact news, not high impact, but it's I put it right there because sometimes it tends to act or behave like high impact news, and we're going to be seeing that released on Tuesday tomorrow. On Wednesday, and significant high impact data, the PMI data across different economies, France, Germany, that's the EU, the UK, and the US. We want to pay attention to that on Wednesday. And on same Wednesday for the UK, GBP USD, we have the Bank of England Governor Bailey, speak at the Institute of International Finance. Okay, of course, we should pay attention for dovish or hawkish comments pertaining to the pound. And on Thursday, the US unemployment claims core durable goods and existing home sales. On Thursday, we expect that US unemployment claims significant data, but the core durable goods and existing home sales, medium impact. And then the UK retail sales data, high impact data for Friday. Now, of course, all these pairs, we should keep in mind the possibilities of Trump's, the emergence or emergent Trump comments, as always. We should plan for Trump's comments and statements. He tweets on a whim, so you want to be careful when placing your positions and put that into consideration on the fact that he could do something or say something that could impact the markets. Okay. For the USD JPY fundamentals, of course, same technicals day to day, Easter Monday, less volatility might be seen in the market. No significant impact data expected. But on Tuesday, we have the BOJ core CPI. Of course, it's a low impact news from the economic calendar, but sometimes it's quite tricky in that it tends to influence the markets like medium impact or high impact data. So, especially if it's quite significant. So, you want to pay attention to that. And then the Richmond Manufacturing Index, again, of course, from the US, the PMI data, which manufacturing index, medium impact news. Again, of course, it's medium impact, but sometimes behaves like high impact news. PMI data across different economies, France, Germany, the EU, UK, US, Wednesday. And then the US unemployment claims and core durable goods. So also the existing home sales will be are expected on Thursday this week. Okay, let's pay attention to how it affects the USD yen. Of course, the USD yen doesn't always respond to news such as these, but we shouldn't rule out the possibility because sometimes it does. 50% of the time, it tends to react. So pay attention to that. And then for Bitcoin, some key news or events that could impact Bitcoin include trade war escalations. And recently, we heard that China dumped or sold $16 billion worth of Bitcoin. That could impact Bitcoin negatively going forward. But then again, trade war escalations could also impact Bitcoin negatively. Okay, so pay attention to that. However, the technicals on Bitcoin are looking quite bullish. So let's pay attention and look into the charts for that. Next, let's see what the charts are cooking up. Let's see what the charts are cooking up. So the first pair I want us to look at today is the Euro USD. Now the weekly chart on Euro USD tells us that price is strongly above the 200-day moving average. Okay, it's also strongly overbought, and we know that it's quite rare for any pair, any financial asset to hit the overbought levels on the RSI, excuse me, on the RSI. And if it does, we want to pay attention to the impact it would have. Okay. Um, what else? Price has been moving nicely along an ascending channel on the weekly chart. It's currently trading strongly above the channel. Okay, as you can see here. So we want to pay attention to that and see what happens going forward. It could be a reaction back to the resistance border of the channel. Okay, or it could just be a strong continuation going up. Of course, the trade war escalations um, have sort of weakened the dollar for price to move strongly in this regard. But the recent possible talks that Trump hinted at between the US and China or the US and Japan could further strengthen the US dollar and perhaps drive it back down. So let's take that into consideration. Um, on the 4-hour chart, we have the RSI negative divergence, indicating that a bearish drop on price is imminent. Okay, we should prepare for a possible bearish pullback or a complete reversal altogether. On the daily chart, nothing peculiar to note. However, I put my key level at key resistance for me is 1.1532. Okay, but before then, we see price moving nicely along a rising wedge or an ascending channel rather. It's moving nicely along an ascending channel, indicating that there could be a continuation to the upside. So for me, not ascending channel, rather ascending triangle. This is an ascending triangle. We see price moving nicely along it, indicating that there could be a strong bullish continuation. Hence, key resistance level for me is 1.1532. If price breaks beyond that, we could see it go as high as 1.1573. If it goes beyond that, we could see it touch psychological level of 1.1600, and above that 1.1632, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, as you can see there. Next, on the flip side, if price happens to break past um, the support border of the ascending channel and breaks past key psychological level 1.1500, then we could see price touch going down 1.1486, below that 1.1473, below that 1.1461, and we could see it go as low as, if it goes beyond that, 1.1439. Okay, below that 1.1417. Okay, 1.1417, and below that, of course, 1.1400 psychological level. So let's pay attention to that. Okay, and it could get adventurous enough if the bearish pressure gets strong enough. We could see it touch 1.1350. Okay, or maybe 1.1368. Below that, it could go as low as 1.1335. And if it gets adventurous enough, 1.1300. Why something so deep? Because it's the weekly chart. It has hit resistance and broken past it, and we see negative divergence. There could be a very strong drop coming in the new week, especially with the rumors of the US-China talks. If there's progress in those talks, the dollar could strengthen, okay, against the euro. Pay attention to this. Next, the pound USD. The pound USD. On the weekly chart, as also just like the euro USD, we see price move nicely along an ascending channel. It's currently at the resistance border of that ascending channel. Okay. On the 4-hour chart, there's a more compressed ascending channel, and it looks as though price has broken above it and is looking to touch significant levels going up. Right now is at psychological level of 1.3400. Okay, so but on the same 4-hour chart, we see negative divergence indicating that price there could be a drop, a brief pullback in price, negative divergence right now. On the 5-minute chart, we see price move nicely along the rising wedge. Okay, you have the rising wedge right there. We see price move nicely along the rising wedge. And right now, it seems to be touching the support border of the rising wedge and struggling to go past it. Okay, if it breaks past into the rising wedge, there could be a continuation going up. However, key resistance level for me is the 1.3400. A clear break of that, 1.3400. A clear break of that could see price touch 1.3420. Above that, 1.3434. Above that, we could see price touch 1.3450. Okay, the last line right there. Now, on the flip side, on the support end of things, if price breaks below 1.3359, okay, we could see price touch 1.3343. Apologies for the fact that it's not so visible. Let's see if we can show you the line there. Yes. So support levels 3420, 3434, and then 3450, as you can see there. So resistance levels, as you can see there. And if price gets adventurous enough to break past key support level of 1.3359, for me, that's the key support level. But if you want to, if you're a trend line trader, you want to look at this guy right here. So a break of this trend line could see price touch 1.3359. If it goes below that key support level 1.3343, it goes below that, price could touch 1.3323, below that 1.3300, and below that 1.3283. If price heads, if the bearish pressure is strong enough to go below that, we could see price touch 1.3270. That's for the GBP USD. Now let's look at the USD JPY and see what's cooking. Now this guy, we have been predicting, or we've predicted back to back how strongly bearish this guy has been, or this guy will be. He was like that last week. He was like that the week before. It's been strongly bearish, especially centered on the heads and shoulders pattern on the weekly chart. On the same weekly chart, we also see price move nicely along an ascending channel. I make reference to it right now. Okay, it seems to be targeting. It has hit a key support level. Okay, the key support level of September 2024 and December 2023. You want to pay attention to that. Price has hit that level right now. There could be a strong reaction going forward. It will be a strong brief reversal, or if a break happens, a strong continuation down. So pay attention to this level. Okay, it seems to have also broken below the channel and is looking to head to lower levels. On the same 4-hour, on the 4-hour chart rather, we see price still return into the descending channel that we have also been talking about and analyzing and making use of in the past couple of weeks, trying to enjoy the profits from this guy. Now, for me, my key support level is at 140.65. If price breaks below that, we could see price touch 140.33. Okay. If it goes below that, you could see price touch 140.01. Below that, 139.60. Below that, 139.19. And if it gets adventurous enough, it could touch the psychological level of 139.00. Okay. On the flip side, okay, on the flip side, if price heads back up into the range of 141.62, prepare for bullish scenario where price could touch 142.00 psychological level. Above that, 142.53. Above that, 143.00 psychological level. And then the next level beyond that is 143.50. Above that, 144.50 psychological level. And if it gets adventurous enough, we could see price touch 144.55. Ladies and gentlemen, that's that for the Forex pairs. Now let's look at Bitcoin. A consolation for this week, looking very nice. On the daily chart, we see price form a bullish change of character and it's still playing around the 200-day moving average. This is Bitcoin, okay? Still playing around the 200 MA. Now, on the 4-hour chart, or maybe even on the same daily chart, price has been moving nicely along a descending trend line. Okay, you can see price move nicely along a descending trend line right there. It's currently broken past that trend line above it, indicating that the bullish momentum is beginning. In fact, we see nice volume already forming, okay, on this guy right here. Hence, for me, going into the week, starting the new week, a break above 8845 could see price for me go 90 to 90,881 level. Above that, 92,222. Okay, beyond that, 93,898, and above that, 95,072 or 95,000 altogether. If it gets adventurous enough, you could even touch 100,000, the $100,000 mark again. Okay, but that seems quite far-fetched right now because of the current range. Um, but if price breaks past key support level for me, 82,994, price could touch 81572. Below that, 8498. Below that, 79839. Below that, 79,041. And below that, 78383. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Bitcoin. Now, for GBP USD and Euro USD, because of the fact that they are at the resistance borders of a channel, of the weekly channel right now, I'm skeptical not to go bullish. So hence I'm looking for possible bearish signals, okay, especially because we have negative divergence there. Okay, I'm looking for bearish signals, short-term bullish positions, and perhaps bearish position, short-term bullish and perhaps bearish positions after a break of key support level. For the USD JPY, I am strongly still bearish, of course, okay, but because it's at a key support level right now, I'm skeptical to watch out for a break or brief pullbacks. If I see signs of brief bullish pullbacks, I'm going to take advantage of that. For Bitcoin, I'm bullish. That's that, ladies and gentlemen, for this week. Thank you for joining. I'll see you again next week. Have a great and green pip week, rather. Bye bye.